everyone, I'm Brooke and today we're going to be making some DIY mason jar snow globes. So this is one that I've done a little bit earlier and we've got a very cute little Santa in there with a little sort of woodland scene behind him. So I'm going to show you how to make one of those right now. There he is in there with a lot of glitter as snow. So to get started we're going to need a mason jar and also some bits and pieces to put inside of your snow globe. So I've started this one a little bit earlier because we're going to be using a hot glue gun, so it can take some time for our hot glue gun to work and to dry. So as you can see, I've got our lid here and that's where we're going to place our little scene in there. So as you can see inside this lid, it's got kind of a lip around here. We don't want to go outside of that lip because that's where the jar sort of screws on to the lid. So we don't want to go over that inner circle. Okay, so for this design, I am going to use one of my Christmas ornaments. It is a little koala bear. And I've cut that to size so he will fit in here nice and snug. So to attach him, I'm going to use a hot glue gun. Now, hot glue gun is of course very hot, so we're going to be using this with a grown-up, or getting our grown-up to use it for us. And we're going to pop a nice amount of glue on there. Then we are going to hold our little koala bear into place. So there we go, we can see he's just drying in there. You want to hold it for a few seconds as the glue starts to set, but then you can probably let go and let it start to cool. Now the rest of the scene that I'd like to do is a few little things in the front. So when you shake it up, it really looks like you've got your little koala bear in this little adorable woodland scene. So some things that I've collected here before, we've got some moss and also some bits and pieces that I found at my craft store, some little mini trees, another Christmas ornament, and I've put some of my floristry wire around the bottom of it. So the floristry wire comes in parts like this, pre-cut. So they're in long sort of pre-cut pieces, and it just helps to sort of stiffen up the pieces of trees that you're going to put in there and make sure that you can stand it up nice and straight with your hot glue. So I've already pre-coiled mine here, as you can see, so let's start to find a good place for them. So I'm going to bend mine and use a little bit more hot glue. And very carefully holding it into place. Now obviously we don't want to get hot glue on our fingers, so if you can use a paddle pop stick or a fork or something, maybe a chopstick would be a good idea as well, to hold it into place. There we go, that's starting to set. And again, we want to make sure that we're not going outside of that inner circle, so we have plenty of space for our jar to screw the lid back on. Okay, now I've got a few more little pieces here that I'm going to attach. Some more sort of, it looks like a bit of a eucalypt, which I thought might match our little koala bear. You might have some ornaments that you've got around the house, or maybe some ornaments that are broken, they can't hang up anymore, so that would be great for this project. So you can reuse and recycle those bits and pieces. If not, the craft supply store will have plenty of fun things for you to have a play with. Sticking that one in there. They do require a little bit of time to dry. Just pop one more in the front. So it looks like our koala bear is surrounded by eucalypt. There we go. Now to cover the bottom here so we don't see any of the wires, I'm going to attach a little bit of this kind kind of grassy moss that I've got down here. But you could use anything. You could use some glitter. You could use some more of the leaves, whatever you like. So you're kind of creating almost like a tiny diorama in the lid of your mason jar. Now you can get a mason jar again at any kind of craft store that you like, or you could recycle one from home. Maybe a jar of olives would be a good one to use. They usually have a great base. Okay, so there is my little scene with our koala bear and all of the leaves and things going on around it. Now I'm going to let that one dry because the hot glue does need to completely dry before you put it into the water, otherwise they will pop off the lid. So I have created one here a little bit earlier. Now this is my little T-Rex Santa Claus because I've got a nephew at the moment who is pretty excited about T-Rexes, so I thought this would be a little bit of a gift for him. So we're going to pop this one into the water now. So I'm going to show you how we create the snow globe effect. So we've got our complete diorama here, and we're going to grab our jar. Now this is a 550 ml jar mason jar for me, but you could do a bigger one or a smaller one, whatever you like. Now into that jar we're going to grab some water and also some glitter. Now I've got lots of gold glitter here, but I'm going to do a few different kinds, and this is totally up to you as to how much glitter you would like to put into your mason jar. I'm a bit of a fan of glitter, so I'm going to put a lot in there. Now you're going to fill up your jar almost to the top. Don't go all the way to the top because remember all of these things are going to be submerged in there. Give it a little bit of a mix around. Make sure nothing is stuck in places because once it's sealed up you won't be able to get in there. Okay, so as you can see that's our sort of glitter snow that's going to work inside of our snow globe. Okay, so now we're going to put our little scene with our little T-Rex Santa into the jar. So upside down, making sure everything is snug and inside the jar. Okay, we're going to very carefully put that lid on nice and tightly. Now make sure you can get it as tight as you possibly can. Now while it is this way up, we're going to use some hot glue again, so hot glue is for grown-ups, around the outside of our jar. Okay, so I'm going to pop down so I can see what I'm doing. We're going to go all the way around the outside with our hot glue. Now it's very careful with this one. It is a bit difficult to keep neat, but we're going to cover it up with some ribbon or some glitter, so you don't need to worry about it too much. Heading all the way around very carefully, watching your fingers all around the outside of that mason jar lid. Almost done. There we go. Now wait for that to dry completely wait for it to dry completely before you flip it the other way around, because if it is not dry you're going to get some water potentially coming out. So we're going to let that dry and we're going to move on to the next part while we do. So we're sort of starting to see it drying here. It goes a bit of an opaque colour, and when it's still wet it's kind of really clear. So we're just going to wait for that one to dry. While we're waiting, we're going to have a think about what we'd like to put around the base of our design. So here we've just chosen this kind of ribbon around the outside. So we might do that again as well. I've got a little bit more of that left. Okay, so that's going to be the ribbon that we use for the outside of our jar. Now that's starting to dry around there. And now's the time to have a little look if there's any holes in the work. Okay, moment of truth. We're going to flip it over and see if any water comes out. If there is, we will have to just add a little bit more glue. Okay, all right, lucky us, there is no water coming out. Give him a bit of a shake. And we can see all of that lovely glitter snow coming down to our T-Rex Santa. Okay, so let's add a little bit of the ribbon around the outside. Now, this ribbon is a little bit frayed, so we might actually go to a piece that I have over here. So this is just actually a piece of glitter ribbon. It has an adhesive on the back, which is a really, really good way to do it. So I'm going to start in the middle. There we go, there's our T-Rex. And holding him on, go right around and just covering up the glue. That's really all that this ribbon is for, just to cover up and neaten up that little glue line there. All the way around, sticking it down nice and tightly. As I said, this one has an adhesive on the back, but if you want to use a ribbon, you can use your hot glue gun again to make sure it sticks down nice and tightly, just like so. All right, I'll give him a bit of a shake, and there is our DIY snow globe in a mason jar. So I hope that you enjoyed our craft for today. It is a little bit tricky with the hot glue gun, but it is a lot of fun. So see if you can maybe recycle some of your jars from home and some of your Christmas ornaments, and we would love to see what you come up with. So make sure you tag us in all your videos. See you soon.